By dawn, the courthouse was crowded. The front stairs were crowded with fans holding placards. Reporters yelled at one another, continuously blinking cameras as the gate's doors opened to the most talked-about trial in Fulton County in years. There was strict security inside. The phones were locked. Guards sent around a list of those who were prohibited from attending. It was more than a trial. It was a reckoning. Sitting quietly and stoically in a dark gray suit at the center of it all, whispers reverberated about him and his jaw tightened. Bambi was on the other side of the room, adjusting her jacket. She looked directly ahead, ignoring the guy who had shared her house, her family, and her plot only months before. Tension was in the air, but nothing really changed until Tasha K walked in, her shoes clicking like a countdown clock. Tasha K didn't look like a blogger since she was wearing a silver flash drive linked to her necklace and was dressed in stark black. She had a fierce appearance. The chamber was filled with murmuring when the judge arrived and the court was called to order. The situation, officially known as Richardson versus Freeman ETL, the case has grown into a comprehensive probe of Urban Trend Studios in addition to Scrappy. The production company that relaunched Street Ties Atlanta, a flimsy euphemism for hip-hop and love. The charges, digital manipulation, contract fraud, emotional coercion, and purposeful suffering, caused by a concerted effort to use reality TV as a weapon against Bambi in order to increase viewership. Tasha K was their star witness today. The prosecution stood up. Ms. LaTasha Freeman is now called upon to the platform. There was a gasp in the room. Scrappy blinked too. With the flash drive still visible around her neck, Tasha K took a bold step forward. She was sworn in, entered, then sat down. Prosecutors don't waste time. Ms. You've communicated with the defendant, Daryl Richardson, aka Scrappy Freeman, for what length of time? Tasha K grinned. Ever since the cameras started rolling, and have you ever gotten any video, sound, or correspondence from him or Urban Trend Studios that might be relevant to this case? Slowly nodding, she unlocked her necklace and showed out the disc. Everything is here. Every perspective, including emails, burner SMS, audio recordings that were never broadcast, and footage they believed were hidden. The judge checked his spectacles. Is this acceptable? In response, the prosecution said, Your Honor, all of the files were legitimately obtained, supplied under whistleblower protection, and supported by production timestamps and metadata. The judge nodded slightly. Go ahead. The illumination, a screen rolled in, and the screen faded a little. Tasha K glanced at Bambi before turning to face Spice, who was seated behind her with her arms crossed. But keen eyes. Tasha K stated in a firm voice, I didn't leak this to be messy. Because they made me a part of a lion, I spilled this. I don't tell lies for nothing. The video rolled. Seated at a producer's office is Scrappy, reclined with his feet up. She will explode if we enrage her sufficiently. Press. The baby issue, please. It always works. Probably a producer's voice answered. Are you certain you want to? Say that on camera? Scrappy chuckled. What? It is unlikely that they will ever air. This. All of it is edited by you. It shook the courtroom. From the back row, there were gasps, whispers, and even a quiet, wow. Bambi's palm tightened as she gazed at the TV. Her flesh was pricked by the gold on her ring finger, the second clip. A shadowy behind the reunion set in the corridor, whispering into a microphone, Scrappy. Just be sure the section when Tasha sobs is leaked. The fans will be flipped by it. The third clip, an image of a green room. Erica Mina, whose face was obscured for legal reasons, laughs with a producer. Since she lied about the pregnancy fear, we'll keep it short. Off-screen, it's Scrappy again, the producer remarked. Said, just give her a comfortable chair and some lights. She always seems unsteady. The courtroom was in disarray by the end of the third tape. The defense attempted to raise an objection. This is discriminatory. This is not how things are done in court. The judge interrupted them. We're not here to keep pictures safe. Here we are, to discover the truth. Tasha K was the target of the prosecution. Did someone provide instructions? You to alter content? She gave a nod. Several producers. I was instructed to make Bambi appear insane. I received talking points and bonuses when scenes went well. Viral. Was the defendant aware of this? He texted me, instructed me on what to post, and even authorized captions. Her phone slipped across the desk. Everything is there. Scrappy's attorney then requested a break. The judge rejected it. Did you ever wonder what you were doing, Miss Freeman? Tasha K. stopped. I initially believed it to be all TV. However, after a reconciliation, Bambi contacted me in tears. I understood we weren't simply recording drama when I was taping and discovered she was unaware that we had micked her dressing area. Devastation was what we were planning. Another gasp. Spice is still leaning over to speak in BMBI's ear. He was silent. This is only the start. He's not prepared for what is ahead. The press had already learned about the court's brief pause. Headlines burst outside. The drive of doom for Tasha K. Scrappy was captured on video. Next on the stand is Spice. Tasha K. took out a last piece as the court reconvened. Confessions Breakdown Day was indicated on a production schedule. There were segments on it, labeled Push Baby Angle, Made Jock Bring Up Erica, and Triggered Her with Infidelity. This was already written. The breakdown wasn't an accident, she said. Scrappy approved of the intended course of action. The schedule was ordered to be admitted into evidence by the judge. Scrappy appeared to have gone 5 minutes without blinking. Urgently, his lawyer whispered. He remained silent. Bambi initially turned to face him. The judge adjourned for the day after whispering, "This is your legacy now." Tasha K. stopped in the corridor as everyone was leaving, turned to face the cameras, and stated, "I told y'all, Lime, not the villain." The courtroom was a different animal. I am the video. On the day 2, there was a change in energy. The audience grew even more. The level of security has increased. With hashtags like Bar Scrappy Trial Day 2, Spice Testifies, and Bambi Deserved, bloggers were live broadcasting their emotions from the streets and the steps. Better. Everyone sensed that something significant was about to happen as soon as the doors opened. Scrappy was a shell of the man who walked confidently through the first day inside. His legal team appeared pallid. With Tamika, the original whistleblower, and her lawyer by her sides, Bambi sat in silent strength. However, everyone's attention was focused on the next name that was called. Your Honor, we now summon Grace Hamilton, who is often known as Spice, to the stand. Like a bomb, silence fell. Spice, sporting brilliant blue braids and a dapper navy suit crowned, he strode with royal poise to the witness box. She touched the Bible and vowed to share the truth, and then she faced Scrappy, looking straight at the gallery. Glass may have been broken by the stress. Ms. Hamilton, the prosecutor started. You appeared in several seasons as a cast member of Street Ties Atlanta with the plaintiff and defendant. Did you ever receive orders to provoke or miss Bambi Richardson? Are you emotionally disturbed? Spice spoke calmly but sharply. Indeed, on several occasions. You were instructed to do what? Bring up her former partner, her weight, her children, or her husband's infidelity? Do whatever it takes to get her to lose it. There is a murmur in the room. B. Abby Bai moved gently, swallowing forcefully while maintaining composure. Scrappy avoided eye contact as she gazed down at the table. Have you complied? Stopped. The first time, indeed. I had no idea how awful things were behind the scenes. However, once I discovered she was, I noticed the breakdown files after being targeted once. They began to push back while high, dissect folders. Spice mentioned that they had a printed binder and produced a scan that was marked Bambi Trigger. Points. It included important phrases to employ, days she had sobbed on set, and even color-coded emotions to target, such as embarrassment, betrayal, and uncertainty as a mother. There were audible gasps and indignation when the courtroom burst. Even the stenographer for the court took a moment to ask if Mr. Richardson, the defendant, was. She didn't. The court dismissed the defense when they attempted to raise an objection. What part did Mr. Richardson play in this manipulation? The prosecutor inquired. Spice leaned closer. I noticed him on the group conversations, but he acted as like he wasn't engaged. I heard him authorize the airing of sequences that Bambi had not approved. He even gave his approval to the song when she was having breakdowns, claimed it gave her a more lost appearance. Scrappy remained. The courtroom went crazy when someone yelled, "You don't know what you're talking about." The judge's gavel was lambasted. Order. Pet down, Mr. Richardson, or I will treat you with disdain. He sat with obvious trembling. His attorney massaged his back, muttering a desperate plan. Unfazed, Spice rearranged her braids and went on. He wasn't only a system component. He militarized the camera, he was the system, and he made his own wife into a story element. Shortly after the court went for break, Pandemonium news vehicles broadcast live coverage. Screenshots of Spicey's testimony were made public by blogs, and a Twitter thread comparing the trigger Bambi trended in 17 states. The point binder to psychological abuse became viral. As Spice Poke gained international attention, the situation within the courts intensified once more, and Bambi's attorney submitted a request to add emotional exploitation and coercive manipulation to the current allegations. Tasha K., who was seated in the back, whispered to a reporter, "And this is still only Act 2. Bambi testified later that day. Extremely terrible. She described the gas, the restless nights, and the emotional toll. Scrappy instructed her in messages to simply go along with it, saying it will make us seem good in the end. This time, the prosecution revealed additional unreleased video, including a covert microphone clip from a reunion recording in which Scrappy is heard stating, "Today she is emotional. Let's comfort later and roll initially." There was startled stillness in the courtroom. As they were ready to adjourn, however, the big surprise arrived when Tasha K. stepped up and asked Bambi to send in another encrypted video called Emergency Room Confessional. The movie played, the lights went down, and the judge gave his approval. When the entire courtroom observed Bambi sitting in an emergency department waiting room following a panic episode, her makeup smudged. A camera. The producer could be heard murmuring, "Can we use this?" While the operator was concealed behind a curtain. Simply blur the wristband. It will appear strong. Bambi raised her head and remarked, "I only needed to take a break. I was unaware that I had committed to being broken." The video came to an end. The judge said, "We resume tomorrow," but no one moved. "Additionally, Ms., I need to examine all of the contracts they forced her to sign, so Freeman, get your last witness file ready." Fans began camped outside before the sun had even risen, but the narrative was only getting started as the courthouse emptied. The courthouse. This was a cultural event, not simply a trial. Journalists competed for cameras as street sellers sold Ultra Broken for ratings shirts. Space. The morning news featured a fan holding a banner that read, "Protect Bambi." The judge had asked for one more hearing before discharging the jury, and the atmosphere in the courthouse was overwhelming. Scrappy, now very thin, and Bambi sat silently with his attorneys, fidgeting, and had fire and steel in her eyes instead of cosmetics or lashes. Arm in her chest, and Tasha K. stood like shields on either side of her. The bailiff called court to session. It didn't matter that cameras weren't permitted inside. Tasha K. had already pledged to edit the whole trial into a documentary, but one last surprise caught everyone off guard. "Judge, prior to jury deliberation, Ms. Freeman has asked for authorization to present one last piece of evidence." The courtroom was filled with silence. Tasha K. walked slowly while clutching a brown packet. "Last night at 2:37 a.m., Your Honor, this file was anonymously uploaded to my legal team's Dropbox folder. A 14-minute uncensored confession from a former urban trend boss is included." Shortly after they were subpoenaed, studios videotaped. The judge arched an eyebrow. Prosecution. "Your Honor, this video is validated, metadata verified. Defense objection? Same production push as the confessionals in Season 12. The video starts, the judge overrules, and the courtroom entirely. The scene on TV shows a man sitting in a dark studio with no music or graphics, just a time clock. Executive, I was instructed to make Bambi unstable 3 months ago, was the directive. The objective was to develop a collapse story arc. Dubbed it Project Spiral. Scrappy supported it wholeheartedly. The gasps came like he provided us with feedback on the set design, lighting, and music. He gave his approval to the moment in which Bambi was tricked into sobbing by playing video of Erica Mena flirting with producers. It was a well-planned, multi-layered takedown. If she filed a lawsuit, we were instructed to pursue it until she breaks for real, according to the executive's last statement. The courtroom remained still for a few seconds as the film came to a close. Judge, This court even required the judge to swallow hard. Has had enough. Your Honor, defense. We ask that the judge reject our request. The jury will begin deliberating right away. Scrappy broke as the jury filed out. Shaking, he said to his lawyer, I can't go to jail. I can't let my children go. His attorney answered coolly, then calm down. What transpired next was not recorded. On tape, but within 10 minutes, reporters released it. Scrappy, during a negotiation in the quiet hallway, agreed to a plea bargain. House detention for 8 months and a $2 million payment to BMI are required. Court-approved mental health therapy through a nonprofit organization run by women. He stayed away from not public ruin, but incarceration. Back inside, the overwhelming evidence convinced the court to make it official. The court holds Mr. Richardson and Urban Trend Studios accountable for emotional coercion, violation of contract, as well as slander. We suggest that the video be released and reviewed by the Federal Media Ethics Board. Be started. Bambi didn't weep. She didn't recoil. She just stood. When Spice gave her a little flash, the reporters outside nearly missed it. Drive with the uncut label. They never broadcast the reunion. Tasha K was wrapping her coat. Tasha, what happens next? A reporter yelled across her shoulders. She grinned and gently turned to the, now the network gets sued. He added, referring to the camera, and that's precisely what occurred. After a week, the documentary on Hulu broadcast the true story of Bambi's downfall, shattered for the sake of viewers. Within a day, it shattered records. The clips featured uncut behind-the-scenes video, jumbled editing, and filmmakers giggling about Bambi's most recent meltdown. Spice provided the voiceover. Commentary was done by Tasha K. She did the last scene, Bambi. She read from a statement in it. Reality TV seemed like a platform to me. It was a trap instead. I'm the director now, though. The editor is me. I take responsibility for my suffering. I manage my cut. Everything went haywire on the internet. Urban was dumped by sponsors. 3 of the producers quit. Mona Scott, but never published a mysterious tweet, quietly left the franchise and was explicitly mentioned in the trial. Occasionally, when you play, you forget that real people bleed God with real lives. It was too late. Bambi joined forces with 6 other former cast members to pursue a $50 million class action lawsuit. She established a production label of her own. The Bambi File, her first uncut documentary series, had no producers, no rehearsed confessionals, and complete artistic authority. She became well known. Scrappy posted his apologies as mandated by the court. I let you down. I didn't succeed myself. I let fear and ego to make me into someone I vowed never to be. The remarks were harsh. You don't apologize. You are vulnerable. Bambi prevailed without the camera team. In the meanwhile, VH1 who Tasha K went live one last time while seated in front of a bookcase with the binder in it. That was the beginning. Despite my messiness, I had the mop with me. According to her, they believed. Although it was a performance, this served as a warning. She shut down her computer. Last Say and I, a silent studio. Bambi sat by herself at a desk, no glam without. A production crew. She glanced straight into